One. And lift off, motherfuckers.
We're in your home, we're in your head. Lock the doors and close the blinds. Turn on your TV, turn off your mind.
Ha, I hit the button before you could even say anything that time.
Okay.
Bitch.
Well, I mean, you were prepared because I already said hit the button before.
Yeah. That's fair.
Okay, welcome back, everybody.
Hi.
We are Soul of a Gamer.
We are.
I'm Scott,
And I'm Steven.
and every week we play a game, we tell you about it.
Yeah.
So
we do that too.
we do hope you enjoyed last week's game.
Yes.
I actually can't remember either.
Oh, God.
What
It
was last week's? It's not like we played it a long time ago. I can't.
No, I know. It was just.
It's like as
so
soon as the
recent.
game is over, we just completely let it slip by. I don't understand
Well,
why.
Especially because
Oh,
I like.
Heavy Rain.
Yes. Because I played a clip of that episode to my wife earlier this week, so I can't believe I forgot.
Yeah.
After re-listening to it like 2 extra times.
Well, we hope you enjoyed Heavy Rain. We really liked that game. Maybe not
Yes.
mechanically, but story-wise, that game was really cool.
For sure.
But this week we're going in a very different direction. We are playing the original Doom.
Yes.
Doom 93.
1993. Yep.
We are number 1.
I was 1 year old.
I was 1 years old. Okay, well, yeah, that's... just so you guys know, make sure to check out our website, soulofagamerpodcast.com, to request games that we should play. Make sure you jump on our email and send us emails if you have anything to ask or to say or any feedback on the episodes. We'd love to hear it. And check out to the end of the Spotify episode if you're listening on Spotify for a survey to get another game requested. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's just jump
Lots of
right
different
into
ways.
this.
Lots
Oh,
of different
sorry.
ways for you guys. I was just going to say, lots of different ways for you guys to request your games. Try to make it as easy as possible for whatever platform you're on. Just go ahead and send them away.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go.
What's on the box?
Alright, so to me, this looks like one of the original PC boxes. I wasn't able to fully verify it, but this is the most impressive box that I saw anyways. I saw a box for the Switch, but all it said was, the recreation of the original Doom! Wah! And I was like, that's not a box worth reading,
Yeah.
as I read it.
I remade it into what it should have been.
So Doom puts you in the bodysuit of a space marine in the middle of an interdimensional war. Sent into a combat at a base on the Martian moon of Phobos, you encounter a demonic horde of invaders pouring through Dimension Rift to challenge the universe. Wave after wave of hideous creatures spread through the base, attacking everything in sight as you stand among the dead. Your duty seems clear. You must eradicate the enemy and find out where they're coming from. When you find out the truth, your sense of reality may be shattered. If you succeed, you'll be humanity's hero. Fail, and you will spell its doom.
Or, I mean, game over. I think all that happens at the end of the game if you fail is game over.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they're wrong.
Doom, man.
Doom!
They said the title, man.
They
I'm
said the
okay with
title in the preview. It's just like the Family
Yeah.
Guy thing.
Exactly.
Not exactly. Shut the fuck up, Steven. I mean, for the most part, I can't see the box. I assume it's lame because it's a 90s, like early 90s box.
I mean, it's showing it's got like 5 different screenshots from the game, and it shows like the flaming skull monsters. It shows the giant like head red demon things. It shows the shotgun wielding one, the other weird demon, and then like the gorilla kind of all on fours crawling at you one. And then it shows some like weird devil just like looking back like
Interesting.
Look,
That's a little weird, but okay.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, besides that, I mean the cover's just got the normal Doom guy pose that a lot of people like to make fun of and point out.
The
Just have, like,
heroic with
double
the 2
fist
guns.
down on top of the horde of bodies. Like, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, this game, This game has a cool little thing behind it. I was just telling Steven I'll throw a little bit more substance into the box here because it doesn't really fit anywhere else. So they tried to release the first episode online, and it was kind of a good idea because now it's like that's the norm, right? We expect it online and ready to go when we wake up, but back in the day, like there was a limited number of capacity for server waiting. So only so many people could be in the server at a single time because the servers weren't very large and weren't very powerful or equipped to deal with that many people. And all these people jump into the server to download the game, the first episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they can't download it because it's not there. Because the guys couldn't get into the downloading source site because there were too many people on.
Fair.
For them to actually upload the game.
Wow.
They couldn't even upload it so it could be downloaded, which I think is really fucking funny. And then they ended up doing this whole free source thing where they basically gave one person the game as a download, had that person share it on several sharing sites, and then so forth and so on until everyone could actually download the game.
Damn.
Yeah, which I think is a cool thing. That's a cool little story. I mean, I watched this whole documentary on the making of this game, and it was fucking intense. Like, they were working a shit ton of hours. This one guy worked like 40 hours straight. John Romero, which was one of the makers of the game, his name has always lived on as one of the biggest name in video games.
Yeah, for
sure. Like he's been he's the guy who made that really big flop, early 2000s flop. It was it was one of the worst flops of all time. They took forever to make the game. They released it, and then it was just complete garbage. And John Romero was on that team that designed it. It was not really Doom-like, but kind of Doom-like. Oh, God, what was it? It was an insane... whatever it was, he did that. He was that guy. And I'm pretty sure he worked on the original Wolfenstein, too, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he had a lot of going for him. See if I can find his game here. I'd love to know if it was early 2000s. I remembered that.
Daikatana?
Daikatana. No, that doesn't sound...
It
actually,
says that you can find a new studio, Ion Storm.
Daikatana. You're not. That's why you're not saying it right.
Yeah,
yes, it was Daikatana. That's like one of the worst games of all time to be released. It a lot of people are really excited for it, and then they just got fucked. Like, it was such a bad fucking game.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I think I've heard the name, but I've never played it or paid attention to it or seen it.
It's been on a shit ton of those worst games of all time lists. It's always in the top 10. It's not bad, mind you. It's just it wasn't the process of making it took too long.
Oh, I mean, I even see an article that says 20 years ago, John Romero's Daikatana nearly destroyed Doom's legacy.
Yeah, literally, it's insane how bad that game ended up being and how John Romero just got fucked afterwards. That poor guy. He is an interesting coder. You know, he is at heart, he's a coder. So.
Okay.
No. Well, yeah. I mean,
stuff, though.
The box wasn't interesting, so I hope that was.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and move on.
Are we jamming?
Are we jamming?
Honestly, no.
I like the theme song.
Yeah, kind of, but sometimes you'd hear the music in here and be like, why the fuck is this playing? There was this weird bell one where I kept thinking the bell was outside because it wasn't fitting in the song well. So I kept taking it off my headphones where the fuck is that sound coming from? And then put it back on. I'm like, oh, it's gone now. There it is again. It was just so random. It didn't fit. I felt it was kind of dumb to put in there. That's all. I just felt like it was stupid.
That's fair.
But no voice acting. There's grunts from the main guy and roars from the creatures, but nothing amazing in this game with music. Honestly, the music is pretty subpar. It's pretty if you think about the 64 music, Nintendo 64, you think there's some cool little sound bites in there. There's some cool soundtracks. Donkey Kong's got that cool theme over the top of it whenever you're in like the serene areas. But this game sounded more like it was made in the late 80s. You know, it sounded more like NES, and it didn't really.
That's fair.
They kind of like stifled the music for the period, but maybe they were so far in between like that 64-bit, or I guess 32-bit at the time, 32-bit and 16-bit.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be the problem, but
I don't know.
to me,
I know
the
a
music
lot
was
of
shit.
people. I know a lot of people really love the theme, and a lot of people try to say that the old soundtrack still holds up. It's fine. It's nothing like to complain about. It's nothing to brag about. I don't know. It's just there.
It's not amazing, but it's something, I guess. It works for what it's doing.
Fair.
But it's not by any means amazing.
Yeah, literally no voice acting or anything, which is, I mean, I know Doom Guy's always been a voiceless character and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, there's like literally like barely any words in this, any dialogue. There's nothing really to read besides at the end of every story.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot like missing from this game, I would say. Even though there's a lot to read, it's really not a lot, right?
True.
Like, you get 1 page of notes, and that's all you get for story. There's no story. You
Yep.
have no idea why you're doing what you're doing or where you are. I thought vaguely you were on Mars the entire time, but apparently you spend time on, like, the moon and time on a different moon near Jupiter, or maybe it was
Yeah.
Saturn. Like, it's apparently you're in all these places, and it never says that anywhere.
I think in one of the other Doom games, like, you go to Mars and find the portal to hell on Mars, and then you can, there's all this like weird stuff with planets having portals to hell.
Yeah. I mean, it's strange. It's a strange,
It's very strange.
game, but also it's not a very good. They didn't do good on the music. I think they could have done better.
Fair. All right, are we moving on to the next?
Yeah,
subject then, or-
like I said, guys, there's not a lot to talk about with music
yeah.
and dialogue, so we'll just move
It's a
on.
very short game too, so there's just gonna be probably shorter and less things to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
How does it play?
All right, into the gameplay for the game.
Gameplay extremely simplistic, just a basic shoot 'em up game.
Yeah.
You have an X-axis for movement, but no Y-axis for movement, so you don't have to move up or down. You just move side to side.
Yep, and your bullets will just arch upward or downwards as they need to.
Yeah.
If there's an enemy in front of you.
One thing I thought would be cool for this is if they did, because James Bond did that similar thing, GoldenEye.
Yeah.
They actually, like, the gun would tilt upwards if it's aiming up. It would tilt down if it's aiming down or something. It would make that physical movement, at least the gun would, so it made you think that you were aiming at the right thing.
Yeah, but GoldenEye, you actually also aimed up and down.
You could, but you never did, right? Like, you definitely could, but it auto-aims still, so what would be the point?
I mean, that's true.
To get a headshot
Yeah.
from far away, sure, or if you were really good and really quick with the movement on it. But the idea of this game, the same idea, like, it just auto-aims at them, but it would have been nice for, like, a physical up, down, side, whatever.
I mean, this is such an old game. I don't expect much from the
Yeah, I guess that's
mechanics and
true.
Stuff. Like, this is as old as it gets for a lot of things.
Yeah,
Like,
this
it's
is like
not-
classic secret areas everywhere, fucking
Yeah.
par times on levels, the power up, they have invulnerability, invisibility, like it's all the typical power ups that every fucking game has.
I was always confused by the partial invisibility.
Yeah, like I don't understand invisibility in that game because I felt like I was never invisible.
I felt the same way.
Yeah, everyone just shot at you anyway. The game, the way it works is it separates into 3 episodes that you play each episode individually with no story, so you're just kind of shooting shit all the way through. There are
Yeah.
puzzle aspects to this game. You have to find keys to open shit. You have to
Yep.
press certain buttons to open shit. Secret areas are kind of cool. Like it is kind of cool finding a secret area that doesn't look like a secret
Sometimes.
area.
Some of them were kind of cool. Like, some of them were like full areas, and some had a lot of items and stuff in it. Other ones were just like areas where enemies came out of that
Yeah,
you could
true.
also go into, and it was just like a little tiny like beep, beep, little 5 foot by 5 foot compartment that had like one thing in it. I'm like, this is not
Yeah.
a secret. Like, I don't care the secret at all.
I did enjoy. I don't know if I've ever noticed this before, but I like that there was a map in the game.
Yeah, I
Because
wish that you
without that
could
map, I would-
scroll the map without moving your character.
Yeah, that would be nice, but unfortunately, it wasn't.
But again,
map is
product
over-
of its time.
Yeah, I think the map had to be overlaid on top of your HUD.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no way to do it.
Yeah.
But I get what they're doing. They're like, well, if you move, if you try to look at, well, I mean, I kind of get what they're doing because if I was looking at a map and walking, I could
Yeah.
still scan the map with my eyes of where I want to look at,
True.
right? So I could change where I'm looking at on the map without having to move in a different direction. But you know what? Again, product of the time. You're probably right.
But I mean, you can still move while having the map up. So
Yeah.
as long as you cleared out the enemies and stuff already, it is pretty easy to just
Yeah.
kind of walk around with it up.
True. And they did have a secret map on the actual map that you're playing on. So
Yeah,
it was
the
like
computer map thing.
Yeah, it revealed the entire level's map to you. So anything that was grayed out, you knew you haven't been there yet. So you could potentially learn where everything is.
True. The par times on these things were ridiculous.
Well, I mean, if you know what you're doing,
yeah.
sure. But I'm also like, so do the part-time count? You have to explore the entire map.
No, I'm sure part time is literally speed running the game because there's no other way to get some of those par times. Like
Yeah.
a minute and a half finding all 3 keys. That's just you running through, getting the keys, and leaving. That's
Yeah.
not doing anything.
You understand all
here,
the
yeah.
dynamics of the map for sure. Yeah. So the
what was
game,
your favorite weapon in the game?
yeah, the game has a lot of fucking weapons. I would argue too many. Honestly, I didn't have a favorite. The shotgun was what I used the most in the beginning. It just had the most base
Shotgun's
damage.
It's so long range. Too.
Yeah, it's
It's
really
way too
long
ridiculous.
range. 2 shots would kill most things. 1 shot would kill
Yeah.
some things. A couple
Yeah.
shots more for some of the bigger enemies. But I did like, the rocket launcher, of course, has a special place in my heart.
Fair. I
The
mean, the big
weird-
fucking gun's always
Yeah,
one of my
you know, the
favorites,
big
but
fucking
you don't
gun,
get that
but-
till the end.
And you don't get that very often.
Yeah.
You get
You
it.
get it a lot more often in the Nuke Dooms than you do in this
Yeah,
one.
yeah, and maybe you could find it on the first level. Who knows?
But I think the worst weapon by far is the chainsaw.
Yeah. No,
I just felt
actually,
like that didn't do very good at all.
So what the
unless you
chainsaw-
had brutality mode on,
kind
maybe.
of. What the chainsaw did do, which I did respect for it, was stop enemies from hitting you.
Yeah, but I mean, like the chain gun could do that as well for the most part. Like they could possibly get a shot in here or there, but a lot of times you would like stutter them.
Yeah. But I mean, you could be right up in their face if they turned a corner real quick, have the chainsaw
Sure.
out, and then just be obliterating them with that. But it did take a long time to kill with the chainsaw, and it was just in there because John Romero's a fucking freak. Literally, John Romero is a fucking freaky guy. He's like there's a reason his namesake is the same as the guy who made Night of the Living Dead. 'Cause
Fair.
I believe that was another Romero. Because they're all
Yes.
fucking weirdos. They just love weird shit. And he's like, well, what would be gory, a knife or a chainsaw? Well, let's put a chainsaw in there. Literally, that's his mode of thought at any given time.
Seriously though.
Gun-wise, though,
George J. Romero, that's what it is.
the guy from Night of the Living Dead.
Yes.
Yeah, the Romero is just a name for freaky people.
Fair.
The guns in general weren't very useful for the most part. No gun was really outstandingly better than the last, except for when you get the shotgun versus the pistol.
Yeah, I mean the fusion gun or whatever,
Yeah,
the plasma gun.
the plasma
that
gun.
That was pretty powerful.
It was pretty powerful, but again, it's not like you don't need it. You could do anything you
No.
did with that with any other gun. Pretty much, it just takes a tiny bit longer.
I never really used the pistol very much because that was pretty weak.
Yeah, you have to hold down. I figured out you don't just press the trigger continuously. You hold it down and it sprays a lot faster.
That would have been nice to know.
Yeah.
I never tried that.
Yep. I didn't figure that out
Fair.
till the second episode, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, the guns, by the way, guys, it's a pistol, a shotgun, a plasma gun, a chain gun, which is more of a
minigun.
minigun, the chainsaw, the BFG, rocket launcher, and I think there's
That's
one
it.
more.
Well, your fist.
Yeah, you could punch things. Yeah, when you picked up the berserk shit and it made you take
You
your
got the
fist.
brass knuckles.
Yeah, it made you take your fist out. I'm like, this does nothing. I punched something. I'm like, oh, I didn't one-shot it. What's the fucking point?
You two-shot a lot of things with it, though. And
Yeah,
you
but
one-shot some things. It was about as powerful as a shotgun.
Yeah, but you should be able, if you're right up close to them and they're getting a chance
True.
to attack you, you need to be able to one-shot those things.
True.
That's a
True.
really dumb idea to make it so it's a two-shot.
No, I agree.
Level-wise in this game, levels are laid out pretty stupidly. It's not boxy.
They're weird.
Yeah, that's really strange how they're laid out. Like
Mm-hmm.
and I know they did this on purpose. This game is not a scary game by any means, but there's some pretty dark fucking areas where you're like jumpy. You're like, where the fuck is the next one coming from?
When you're in the areas where the lights are flashing,
Yeah.
and then like enemies just like pop out of nowhere, there's a couple like actually good jump scare moments.
Yeah.
Or like a door, or like you'll pass a door and then a wall will come up behind you and a wave of enemies comes out. Like there are some pretty good jump scares.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how this isn't really a scary game, but they were able to fit a lot of good scares in there.
Yeah.
And the creatures in this game, you get a good collection of different kinds of creatures. Humans that have been like taken control of, I think. These
Yeah.
weird walking demon-like creatures that are like tier 2 creatures. Tier 3 creatures are they're like these guys that run up to you and hit you rather than blast you from afar.
Yeah.
And then these guys who are like floating something.
They're eyes of the beholder.
Yeah, basically they're the beholders,
Yeah.
but they're I don't even know what to call them, but they're beholders and they shoot fireballs, kind of like energy fireballs or something.
yeah.
But those are tier 3, and then tier 4 monsters. There's
The
invisible.
bosses.
No, those are tier 5. There's invisible
Okay.
dudes. There was one more on top of that. I can't remember the other one. There's
I don't
definitely
even
one
know.
more beast, and then the bosses are tier 5, and they're all like hard to kill things.
Yeah.
Like they take
Unless
a
you
while.
have the big fucking gun.
Or the
Then it's
rocket
really
launcher.
easy.
Um,
No, even the rocket launcher on that second boss took me a fucking like 30, 40 shots. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
which was the second boss?
That was the one where you have like the octagon arena and there's just like that octagon in the middle or the whatever where you could go through and there's a bunch of like rocket ammo everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Yeah.
there's just running around in a circle and there's pillars all scattered around the arena.
Yeah.
It's the Minotaur looking fucker.
I gotcha. Yes.
Yeah.
Some of the bosses were a little tough. They took a while just to degrade down to nothing if you didn't have the right weapons for it.
I love the Wild Wild West enemy, the last boss.
Oh,
the giant spider.
It's a spider with a brain in it, I think.
The robot spider just reminded me of Wild Wild West so much.
Yeah, it's got a giant brain in it though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so, like that.
Yeah.
I shot it with the big fucking gun 3 times as soon as I saw it. Didn't get to see it very much.
Yep. I think I killed it with rockets. I don't remember actually what I killed it with.
I don't know, but I got an achievement for overkill when I
Nice.
killed it, so I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I'll take it.
Nice. Yeah, I think I played mine on the Xbox app.
Oh, okay. I played
think
mine
so.
on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I played on Game Pass, but it wasn't on the Xbox app. I played on computer.
Oh, okay.
The achievements on computer don't always show up for me, so I don't know what I got.
Fair. I will say I did hear that the PC port on Steam is not very good, and you have to have a Bethesda account for it, and a lot of people are pissed off about that kind of stuff for it.
Yeah, I saw Bethesda on it. And I'm like, really? They bought out the fucking company that made Doom? I think it was ID or id or whatever. I can't
Yeah,
remember
it is
exactly.
ID. Yeah.
I think it's id. I think they say id.
I think you are right. It's it, but yeah.
But I was like, really, Bethesda? Can you just let someone keep their fucking game already?
I will say I did play the 2016 version of the game, and that was the first version of Doom I had ever played, and it's pretty fucking fantastic. We'll probably have to add that to our
Alright.
list at some point.
I mean, I just have a whole thing against Bethesda because they bought out the people who made Fallout, right? They
Yeah.
made Fallout 4, but everyone else put in all the work for Fallout 3 and all that crap, and they just made Fallout 4 a skin of Skyrim, basically. I mean, it was still good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong; it was still a lot of fun.
I was gonna say you play the shit out of it.
Yeah,
back
I
in the day.
I still love that game to death, but all the work of that game was put in by the previous company, and then they just folded. So.
Yeah, well, and it's no New Vegas from what I hear from everybody.
Well, New Vegas was that's not even the original company
I
either.
know.
That's Obsidian.
That was
and-
Obsidian,
and
yeah.
they're just amazing at making every game they make. I love Obsidian.
Fair.
They're one of my favorite game makers.
But I mean, I heard the Fallout TV show is really good. So.
Yeah, I've heard that from a couple people. Maybe one day I'll watch it. But yeah, I'm surprised Bethesda took up Doom though. I don't understand why. It's not really their cup of tea. Like they're
I mean,
more of a
true.
world building, class building kind of gaming company, but then they go into a first person shooter that's more about gores and guts.
But I'd almost rather them branch off a little bit than just keep failing at what they've been doing.
I guess they haven't been failing though. They've been widely
They
successful
haven't been
with most of the
failing,
stuff.
but they haven't been doing the greatest recently. That's why they had to get bought out
Oh, did they get bought out too?
by Xbox. Yeah.
Oh no! I mean, Xbox is just collecting game companies, so Sony can't keep using them to make games. I don't know if that.
Well, that
speaks-
because Sony just has way too many exclusives, so Xbox is trying to get their hands on some.
Yeah, so I think that's more or less of how good the company was doing, and more of how what Xbox's new expectations are. But I don't know. I haven't looked into how successful Bethesda's last game was. I don't even know what their last game was, to be honest. So.
Well, now it's Starfield was their last one, but
Oh, Starfield was a great game.
that's what I didn't care for it.
Oh yeah, it's because it's a giant game that has a lot of RPG elements.
I
to it.
love giant games that have RPG elements if they're done right, but this one doesn't let you fucking actually land or fly your ship. So
I mean, that's the one thing you're gonna hit on. It had the
yes,
the entire.
because I played No Man's Sky, that was
But
like
that is-
half the
but that's
cost and
nothing-
allowed you to have so much freedom and creativity with everything.
Yeah,
And
but
I'm
you
like,
don't get to build with No Man's Sky or anything like
Yeah,
that.
you do.
Do you?
can
I
make-
thought the whole point was exploration and discovery.
it's both.
Oh.
There's base building. There's all kinds of shit in that. Yeah.
All right, well, I mean, it's fine. I didn't really mind it because it's built on a different engine too, so you can't expect the same things out of it. But back
No,
on gameplay for
yeah,
this,
yeah.
it was fine. It's nothing to write home about. It's not the best game you'll ever play. It's not the worst
Yeah.
though. It is fun.
It's fun. It's
like
fun.
you play it and you're like, I remember doing this when I was younger. Like that's the feeling you get out of it.
It's one of those moments where you're like, oh my gosh, like this is one of those like easy games you expect to go back to and just have fun and just blare through it. Like you're not going to struggle with it. I almost liked just having a run and gun game.
Yeah. It's fun to just like pray and spray and just have fun. You
Yeah.
know? That's
Sure.
always a fun thing to do for me. So,
For sure.
all right. Well,
All right,
that's. I think that's it on gameplay.
Yeah. Let's go to the next.
Let's go.
It's time for reviews.
Alright, so now it's the part of the show where we find out if you are little bitch boys like us with your reviews or ratings of the game, or if you are valid in your excuses.
Yeah, but you're never valid.
Some of you are.
Never.
Alright. First review I found was quite possibly the best FPS game of all time.
Okay.
I'm gonna say a little bitch boy on that.
FPS. I mean, it depends when he wrote it. Did he write this in '94?
He wrote that 4 days ago.
Okay, well that's very interesting. Then, if he wrote it in '94, he could be right. Honestly.
Well, back then, yeah, I could possibly agree, and there's arguments you can make for it or whatever. But
The
I
moment-
just, like, with
the
all
moment the
things that
first
you could
Halo
do in
comes
some of the
out,
other-
The
yeah,
moment the first Halo comes out, you're already wrong.
exactly. And I mean, like Titanfall 2 and some of these other FPSs that just have incredible stories. And
I think he
incredible
just liked the
gameplay.
easy aiming,
And I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
but you can't
But
call
I
that
don't
the
think
best.
you can call it the best. I think
Now,
you can
if he
say
said
that's your favorite.
in my opinion, the best game of all time or whatever, that's fine. But you said the best game of all time, no argument, no
Well,
opinions.
I don't even care if you're trying to classify it as your opinion. Your opinion is still that it's the best game and not your favorite game. If it's your favorite game, that's a whole different story. You can have any bias you want about what your favorite is. But if you're talking the best,
Well, again,
this isn't an argument.
in my opinion, remember, it's a review about what you feel. It's not a review about what's the popular consensus is.
I get that. I'm
So,
saying
if
you are claiming best, I'm taking it as you're saying it's the best of all time, not your favorite.
No. The best that of all time that this person's played. Maybe they've only played this and like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, or no, they played FPS, so it had to be a Shadow the Hedgehog.
yeah. Maybe they played Shadow the Hedgehog, and I heard good things about Shadow the Hedgehog, but I don't know.
Another one, still great even at this late date. More fun than one can state. Don't wait. Playing Doom is something you won't hate. I rate this game 8 out of 8.
Boo, boo, I hate it. That was a bad rap.
Yeah.
He's no
it was-
Snoop
it was
Doggy
pretty bad.
Dog.
No, he's not. But, you know, I did have fun with that review. And I do agree that it is... I had never played it until now, and it's way more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I will agree. I think this game does hold up. I think that even people today would like it. Like kids who have never played these kind of games before would probably like it.
I didn't see too many negative reviews. I saw some funny ones, though, like this one. Stop checking the negative reviews for an excuse not to buy this masterpiece.
It costs like $1. I don't know. The excuse
Yeah,
is
I
you
was
have no
gonna say, like,
money, I'm
most-
guessing.
At the most I've ever seen this game was $10, but most of the time it's $5.
Yeah, it's
or
like
less.
super cheap most of the time. Most of the time, if it's more, it comes with like a bundle of another game of some kind.
True.
You know, like Doom 2 or something.
This one I laughed at because it's just this guy bought the wrong Doom, obviously. Awful graphics, pretty bad for a 2016 game. Looks like it came out in 1950.
I wonder if that was on purpose or if he's actually real.
Right? Yeah, I never know with people because, like, I don't want to say there's not dumb enough people out there to say that, but there is.
Yeah, totally is.
Story in this game is like a story in a porn movie. It's expected to be there, but it's just not important.
That's true. The penetration is the only thing important.
Exactly. You're not a gamer until you fire a bullet that bends 45 degrees upwards at an enemy. 10 out of 10.
Again, like, I think if they would have had that little shift thing,
Yeah.
because I think the point is, like, the gun is actually aiming up, even though it doesn't look natural. They just
Fair.
didn't have it at that moment with the technology they had. Because no one complains about James Bond fucking doing that shit, you know?
Fair. I don't know why people claim this game is satanic. You're literally killing demons. How is killing the spawns of Satan an act of Satanism? Fucking love Mormons.
Yeah.
Or morons. This is morons. Sorry. I read it as morons.
Wow, you added an extra M.
Oh, I
You piece
did.
of
Oh,
shit.
God. I even saved that because I thought it was funny that he called out Mormons, and I'm an extra moron for reading it that way.
Way to go. You're
to
stupid.
go.
You stupid Mormon. Wait, no, moron.
It's a good Christian game. Great for any Sunday afternoon.
It's so weird that people are so strange about the fact that it's like a demon game. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it any worse than like killing Nazis? You're still just killing something.
I don't know. That was always so weird. Like, any games with demons in it or anything with demons in it, like, a lot of Christian parents, including my own, would, like, go down harsh on it. Like, you can't even say the word demons. We don't want you doing anything with demons. And I'm like, they got mad at me when I first introduced my brothers to Diablo. And I was like, but you're literally fighting with angels with the help of God to fight all the main devils and demons of hell. How is this not a Christian game?
Well, it's really not, because you're still killing shit, I feel like. But, you know, whatever.
You're only killing demons. You're literally only killing demons.
And watching regular people die from said demons.
Yes, which is what they're trying to warn us about. I mean, there's shows like Bible Man that's literally angels fighting demons, and that's
I
okay
don't-
to watch.
I don't know what that
but
is.
it's a Christian
Yeah,
TV show
that's
that was
why.
really bad.
Bible man, savior of the Christian race.
That's about what it was. And then my favorite review, guy go pew pew, demons go boom boom.
I mean, it's true. They always it's really funny when you kill the demons in this game or any of the monsters. Like, literally, they die, but they turn into mush.
Yeah,
Like, it's really
so
weird.
Yeah.
They're like, well, my body it turned out it was just a pocket of air, so when you kill me, all the air goes away.
Apparently.
Yeah, it's super awkward.
But that's what I had for reviews. There wasn't a lot of this one. A lot of them were just like really short, tiny one sentence
Yeah.
ones, so I didn't have a lot in there. It was either one sentence reviews or 8 paragraphs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck that. I'm not reading that much.
All right, well, let's just move on then.
It's story time. Let's get started.
All right, story time. Read us a story, Scott.
Guys, I have no intelligible way of telling you this story. I'm just gonna read
all.
the Wikipedia version because honestly, I don't even know the story. I just know you're killing things. There is no story. I don't even know how they got the fucking story out of this. But
No one does.
no, I'm sure they released like pamphlets and shit that kind of
Probably.
helped you through it, but I don't have
Yeah.
access to those. All right. Doom is divided into 3 episodes, each containing about 9 levels. Knee Deep in the Dead, The Shores of Hell, and Inferno. There is a 4th episode, guys, but that's just for the Unlimited Doom edition.
Yeah.
And it's like a prequel to Doom 2 and a sequel to Doom, so it's kind of its own thing. So we didn't bother playing that.
Yep.
But I heard there's a funny like story with his cat. He finds his cat dead or something. I can't remember exactly.
Oh,
but
no.
It sounds really sad. In the future, an unnamed Marine is posted to a dead-end assignment on Mars after assaulting a superior officer who ordered his unit to fire on civilians. The Union Aerospace Corporation, which operates radioactive waste facilities there, allows the military to conduct secret teleportation experiments that turn deadly. A base on Phobos urgently requests military support, while Deimos disappears entirely. The Marine joins a combat force to secure Phobos. He awaits at the perimeter and as ordered, while the entire assault team is wiped out. With no way off the moon, and armed with only a pistol, he enters the base intent on revenge. In Knee Deep in the Dead, the Marine fights demons and possessed humans in the military and waste facilities on Phobos. The episode ends with the Marine defeating 2 powerful Barons of Hell guarding a teleporter to the Deimos base. After the battle, the Marine passes through the teleporter and is knocked unconscious by a horde of enemies. Awakening only with the pistol, in the Shores of Hell, the Marine fights through corrupted research facilities on Deimos, culminating in the defeat of a gigantic cyber demon. From an overlook, he discovers the moon is floating above Hell and rappels down to the surface. In Inferno, the Marine battles through Hell itself and destroys a cybernetic spider demon that masterminded the invasion of the moons. When a portal to Earth opens, Marine steps through and discovers that Earth has been invaded. Thy Flesh Consumed follow the Marine's initial assault on Earth invaders, setting the stage for Doom 2.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, I don't know how they got any of that story. I'm very curious to know how they knew all of that information, because that was not presented in the game whatsoever.
And to be fair, I didn't read any of the dialogue at the end of each episode because I don't want to read.
Oh, okay. Well, then you're not playing the game because that's all the dialogue at the end of the game kind of sets the stage for the next episode. That's about it. So, like,
I mean, I glanced over it, but I was like, I don't care.
the
This
first,
is just fun.
yeah, the first one, like, all that literally said was you walk to the teleporter. Wait, this is all wrong. Something happened. Nothing's right. Where am I? And then you get knocked out, and that's it. That's the whole like this thing. And the second one was like, you realize you've defeated the big bad, but wait, you look down and you see hell, and you say, I'm gonna finish this fight, and you go down there, and then you go back to the beat the Inferno, and all it really says is like you go through a portal and you see the world, but you wonder what has happened while you've been away.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I glanced at it a little bit. I was like, this doesn't seem like it's important. I don't grasp what it is.
I mean, it just set
integral
up.
to the
It's
story.
set up
Like,
while
it's-
you're doing the next thing. Why are we
Yeah.
here? Why are we still fighting if we beat the big bad? Like, that's all it does.
Fair enough,
You
fair
know,
enough.
it's what we call like paying attention to the story. That's all. That's all it is.
I mean, if there's not really a story they present
Eh.
besides a title card,
That's
there's not really much
That's
of a
the
story.
only story you get in the entire game, and that's the one
I
thing you
get that.
chose
I get.
to not
get
pay
that.
attention to.
I didn't care.
That's fair. It's like it didn't add too much. Like I had no idea that he was deranked for assaulting an officer. Or
Yeah. And that's kind of like my point with it. Like, they didn't bother with much for story. It was more about the gameplay. So I also didn't bother with the story.
I'm confused too to why they left him outside. They're like, we can handle this, and then they're all dead, and you're like, could you handle
Could
this?
you? Really? You got it? Yeah, yeah.
But that guy, it's not mentioned in here. At some point, he becomes known as Doom Guy.
Yeah, the main character, yeah.
Yeah, and I know in the future it turns out that he's been dead the whole time or something.
I don't No, I know there's like some weird stuff with the story. But...
Yeah, well, he takes off one of his gloves in one of the later, I think 2019 Doom or the 2020 Doom. I can't remember exactly. But
Okay.
in that Doom, he takes off his glove, and it's like a skeleton underneath. He's got no flesh
Interesting.
left. When he went to Hell and Inferno, it burned off all of his flesh, apparently.
Damn.
Yeah, so he's been...
So he needs the suit, basically.
Yeah, the suit's the only thing keeping him alive, and he's been dead this entire time. Like, that's just it. He's just been dead.
He's berserk.
Yeah. So he's just been living on to defeat the Doom armies, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know it always seemed like one of those Legend of Zelda kind of stories. Like, it opens up like a time back up, and he has to fight through Mars and fight through Hell again, and then start over again and do the exact same thing.
he's on Phobos. Phobos and Deimos are the two moons that circle Mars, I think.
I think.
I'm pretty sure, because Phobos is the
But
one
I know
that's getting
they even
destroyed.
talked about Mars at first.
Yeah. So I think they
Yeah.
went, because the base is on Mars,
Yeah.
but he went to Phobos first, and then to Deimos, and then to Hell. Those
That
are,
makes sense, yeah.
which I don't know why I don't know why Phobos is red, because it's just a gray moon.
I don't know.
It's very, very confusing.
I don't know nothing.
Yeah. The story-wise, guys, it's, there makes no sense. There's nothing
Yeah.
in here that makes sense. There's no concisive story when you're playing the game. So all of this that I've told you is just kind of like, if you wanted the story, read that, I guess, while you're playing the level, so you understand why you're doing what you're doing. Otherwise, there's really no point.
Yeah. Well, it's just like one of those things for me where it's like, if the story's not intriguing at all, I don't care about it.
Yeah.
Like, I was playing it for the gameplay. I wasn't playing it for a story.
Yeah, this is
Like-
the same as Prototype. There's really no story that's interesting. So the one thing you like about it is that you get to blow up demons.
I was a little bit more intrigued with Prototype story, at least, though, because it had voice acting, it had some story,
Yeah,
it had
kind of.
cutscenes.
And then you get to the end of it, and you're like, "This is the shittiest story of all time."
I didn't say it was perfect. I just said it did have some sort of assembly of structure to it that actually was sort of intriguing for at least half of the game.
Yeah, and then you're like, "I don't know what's happening. Who am I?
I mean, yeah.
what am
That's
I?"
fair.
And then you
And you find
die.
out what you are, and you're like, oh,
And then in the second one, you
Bummer.
die.
yep.
I don't know. In this game, the story is so unimportant that we don't need to spend a lot of time on this. So I think that's about it. But
Yeah.
literally, guys, I would argue that there's almost no story, even though I read that to you. I don't think that's presented well enough to be counted as its story.
Yep.
So they should just kind of ignore that and just say it's a fucking shoot 'em up game.
I mean, that's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
So,
So-
move on then.
Move on.
Worth or not?
Alright, what are you rating the game?
I think we have to go worth on this one. Now,
100%,
I
yeah.
only say that because the gameplay is fun, but this is kind of the start of FPS.
Yes.
This is really like, we had a lot of games that copied this game come out after Dark Forces for Star Wars, Marathon Man for Bungie. A lot of games took this Doom style of playing and improved upon it, and that's why we have games like Halo and shit today.
yeah.
So I think it's important to
I think Quake's
understand.
in that talk too.
I bet Quake's in that talk too, but I think this
Yeah.
was the first one. I'm not 100% on
Yes.
that, but they did amazing work on this game, and it's clear
Oh, yeah.
from the actual gameplay. And honestly, check it out just to understand where all of your first-person shooters come from.
Seriously, no, it's the levels are intriguing enough, they're fun enough, I wouldn't say like challenging necessarily, but there will be some levels you might get lost in, especially some of like the portal levels towards the end. Those ones are a little
Yeah.
weird to traverse around. But honestly, like, very just well made gameplay. Like, especially for something that old, like, a lot of the times when I go back to a lot of these games that came out in the 90s, like the original like Lion King game or some of those games, like it's way harder than I ever remember it being. And I'm like, there's no way I ever beat this game. And I don't know if I could beat this game today. But games like this are just fun running guns. Like, you will. This is a super cheap game. If you have Game Pass, it's on there. Most of the time, you're going to get it for $5 or less. Some people on the reviews were talking about getting it for $1. Scott said that as well. This game's well worth the money. Like,
Yeah.
that amount of money, you're going to get 3 to 5 hours of gameplay out of it honestly, a lot of people play this game to this date. Like, they're saying 27 years later, I'm still playing this game every year. Like, this game is incredible, so it's worth it.
31 years later.
Well, that's one of the reviews I read said 27, so
So
I
I'm
didn't
guessing
do the math.
he did that in 2020, I'm guessing?
I wasn't paying attention.
I'm guessing he did.
not.
2020 would have been 27 years, so
Yeah,
he probably put that review back in 2020.
fair.
Yeah, I mean, this game is fun, and I think you guys would enjoy it, so just check it out. Have fun with it. Fuck around with some demons. Explore the maps a little bit more. Find all the
Fuck around
secrets.
and find out.
Fuck around and
Yes.
find out.
Bitch.
All right, well, that's it for that game. Whoa! Next week's game is
Firewatch.
Firewatch, a game about fire and watching.
Watching it.
Watching fire itself.
Go into that game blind.
Yeah, seriously, go in blind, guys. It was a lot of fun the first time I played it, and I'm excited to play it again.
Yeah.
Now, knowing what I know, I'll probably do a little bit more, like, canvassing of the area, but
My heart was beating so fast.
yeah, you guys should try it. It is a lot of fun. It's like a low-risk horror game, which I like about it a lot.
Yeah, it's
So-
very, very awesome.
All right, well, we'll catch you next week. Bye!
Love you.